For pound, the best home fragrance and beauty products, you need to go to AshKicking.com.
Hi, my name is Veronica, and you're watching Dontaesboxingnation. How did that one do?
That was very good. Let's do it just maybe one or two more, okay? And for everybody just tuning in right now, live right now, you guys are listening to Virgil Hunter on the horn right now. Now, Virgil, this is just perfect timing. We talking right now because this weekend, you got Sergey Kovalev making his return. This should be really interesting to see what's left. He's going against Shabransky. Your thoughts? Is he going to be the same? Your thoughts, Virgil?
You know what? One thing I think that's very interesting about Sergey Kovalev fighting this weekend, it's interesting to see the big change in him. And I think that Clemus and I think that Kathy Duva really should issue us a thanks for, getting their fighter in the right state of mind. Because all he's doing right now is conforming to what we said he wasn't doing in the first place. We brought that up in both fights, that his lifestyle wasn't going to allow him to win a fight against Andre Ward. And we addressed it. And I think by him making this change, he insulted the living God, but he ends up going to a monastery. It's like almost, hey, if this works for Ward, it's got to work for me. So let me go get a relationship with God. They really should be thanking us for getting him in that position where he took a long look at himself, a long look at his antics, a long look at his lifestyle and how he went about things, and he was willing to make a change. So I saw an interview today where he was with Radio Raheem, and he seemed very pleasant, and not the crusher that the media and the powers that be created for him. Not that persona. He didn't display that persona. And it's funny, they love that persona he had in the beginning, and now this persona he's displaying now, they seem to be in love with that. But it would be nice if they would send a thank you our way for putting him in such a position that he had to make a change.
You guys humbled the boy. So you guys humbled the boy.
Yes. Well, yeah, I mean, being humbled, and he was humbled. But I would like to say to him, being humbled is not a bad thing, because the good Lord said the meek will inherit the earth. He didn't say the weak. He said the meek. And he's displaying a meekness now that I feel would benefit him. Look, he's a hell of a fighter. I mean, I can't take that away from him. He's a hell of a fighter. And I'll be honest, I don't see a light heavyweight right now that can beat him. And I'm not saying that to elevate us in the division. We always knew what we could do. I'm just saying it as a fact. Watching him train and watching some of his new training tactics, I even see he tried to pick up a couple of things that we do. After he finishes punching now, he tries to display a prevent. That's what I call it. I'm not going to go into detail about it because this is something we do. But I noticed that he's doing these things, jabbing to the stomach more. So, I mean, he's showing his intelligence. What works against him, he'll use it against somebody else. But he's still a hell of a fighter. And he's still a dangerous fighter. I mean, the man can fight. Let's don't make no mistake about it. He can fight. And when I said I was a fan of his before we fought him, I was very sincere about that. He was beautiful to watch. He's got good legs. He's got good rhythm. Watching him shadow box and things like that, I still see. And I'm not going to say it's a weakness, but I still see a couple of habits he does in his movements that we picked up on that we felt would help us in the fight. He still does that, but if you don't notice it and if you don't recognize it and formulate a plan against it, he's still going to be effective with it. So I'm looking for a good fight. The other kid is a big puncher. He's not a slouch. He has the credentials to prove that. I don't hold the Barrera loss against him because I had been saying all along that Barrera was a heck of a fighter also, and he's right there at the top in terms of an opportunity to be the light heavyweight champion. But after we beat him, of course, his abilities and his fighting abilities and everything else was minimized. He was nothing. He was a nobody, you see. Even though he had the amateur credentials to match anyone, he was undefeated as a pro, and he was knocking people out. He had a great trainer, and he was a specimen. But we didn't get any credit for that fight. He just got put down, as a rookie, as a novice, as a nobody. But he proved what I said he was. He was a heck of a fighter, and I said that from day one when the fight was signed, that we're coming out of the garage after a year, our first light heavyweight fight, fighting the #1 contender, and coming out of the garage to do it, and he is the real deal. So now he's getting his due credit.
And Virgil, how crazy is it, the way things work out? Once again, you got Sergey Kovalev, who they were saying was pound for pound the best fighter at light heavyweight before you guys beat him. You guys you stop him, and he's going against Shabransky, who Barrera stopped or beat, and you guys dominated him. So it just make you guys look good all around. I remember when Andre Ward, when he beat and dominated Alexander Brand, you had some people saying, oh, well, Shabransky, he stopped, him in sparring. And now look how things all play out. It's just crazy how things just play out. Now Ward knocks out Kovalev, who was supposed to be the crusher, the destroyer at the light heavyweight division. So it's just crazy how things turn out at the end of the day, Virgil. But congratulations on all of that, man. So you picking? You believe it's going to be a knockout? You believe it's going to be the same Kovalev against Shabransky this weekend, then, or what? I know you picking Kovalev, but how does it play out?
I'm no way picking Kovalev to win the fight. I alluded to the fact that he's still a great fighter, and I believe right now he's the man to beat until proven otherwise. But that is no way. That's no way, form, or fashion I'm taking Slava out of this fight. He can punch. He comes from a good system. He also has a good coach in Manny Robles. And this is his opportunity. And when you look at the fact that maybe, a lot of fighters say, well, okay, when he lost to Andre, that, he was exposed. I don't think he was exposed. Kovalev was exposed. So that also gives a fighter and also gives your team the right ingredients for a training camp. You realize, hey, I got a great chance to win this fight. You're looking at your opportunities to win more than paying attention to your opportunities on why you can lose. So I'm sure they want to go to the body. And incidentally, to speak on the body, I'm not going to say Kovalev's body was weak. It's just the type of body shots that, he allowed us to get off, and we knew where to place the body shot. So, and at the right time. So I'm not going to say his body was weak. Even though, body shots had a great deal to do with him wearing down. I think anybody who allows themselves to get hit to the body that many times, anybody can weaken, from those type of shots. So that would be hard to say. Now, if Slava puts one in there and puts him down, you got a great case. But at the same time, you just can't walk to his body and hit him. you have to pay a price to get there, or you have to have the right strategy to get there. When we and of course you were there when I informed the press that we were going to stop Kovalev.
Yeah.
And they laughed at me and didn't take it serious. That also hurt him. You know, he can blame the press just as much as he can blame John David or his lifestyle, anything. He can blame the press because the press is what put it in his head who he was in the first place. He let the press build him, and he lived with that, and he rode with that. Mm-hmm. I'm the crusher. It's like, no way, you know, you can beat me. No way you can get to me. I'm the crusher. That means, you know, we hear it all the time. You start believing your own clippings. You see, so they're just as responsible, and they're even more responsible by trying to give him an out the first fight. Yeah. Even though I've openly challenged any member of the press, anybody, to sit with me. You can have a public cameras there, anything else, that whole first fight, and show me where Kovalev won the fight. Mm-hmm. But I guarantee you I can show you where we won the fight. You see, and the whole thing was to take away, after the right hand landed in the second round, it never landed again for 20 more rounds. Yeah. You can't even go into the second fight, and I did this myself. If you look at the second fight, there's not one time that Kovalev landed a hook or a right hand where the crowd said, ooh, not one time.
Absolutely.
And I challenge anybody to dispute that. But the whole plan was, if you're going to stop him, we knew we were going to have to take, what punches are we going to take from him, and what punch are we going to give up? Okay, well, we got to get close to him in order to put the punches on him that'll start breaking him down. So we decided to give him the jab. And what I mean by giving him the jab, not just letting him jab us, but we had two strategies. Follow the jab back, which is what we did when we hit him with the big right hand. Follow the jab back. Or beat him to the punch when he was jabbing. One of the two, just to keep him all set. But he never landed a big right hand in the fight, and he never landed a hook at all. I don't even think he threw that many hooks. So that worked for us. But if you're going to get to him, you have to be willing to concede a punch, and you also have to be willing, you have to have the strategy to take away the other punches. So we were able to successfully do that. Absolutely. In the fight. And we were victorious with it.